All right, we're live. There we go. Wait for the viewers to kick in. 5 viewers, 3 likes, great. Just going to pull up some stuff here. Close YouTube. We were listening to the Cranberries. Waiting for everyone to connect. 4:30 live stream. Welcome to our live stream today. It is Māhina and I today. Māhina is joining us to talk about crew. To talk about our experience as crew and how that affects the way we book other crew or skippers or hostesses or whatever it is for the for charters and stuff like that.
And I think too, the way that this industry kind of generally treats crew that I have lots of opinions about.
Yeah, so look, this is definitely down to be a discussion. Like we're going to give out some information about how we book crews and all this sort of stuff, and what we will not book, as in the arrangement on boats, and then where you're going to put your skipper or whatever it is. So
we do it differently.
We do it differently. We've had to.
Of course we do. Of course we do.
Of course we do. We don't never do anything the same. We've had to adjust back a bit to, because this is the industry. We can't take over the industry. We can't change it overnight. But that is definitely where we're heading. So got a few people stacking up on the viewers now. We've got a few comments coming in. Nico's here. Same here. Ready. He says that tells me that Chris must have got in first on YouTube. But they came in on my system at different.
On mine, it's Chris is in first.
Chris is. Oh, okay, there we go.
Second,
yeah.
so.
Mine's like that. Hello, all. Graham's here as well. Chris Lester, dude, is this your first live stream? I don't know. You always say, oh, I missed it. But he's got his notifications down pat now. So Blair's here as well. Wallace Crofton. Nice to see that Nick is a line manager.
I've got his line manager. I'm not responsible for that.
No, but I'm definitely going to have a mouthful of pizza in about 30 seconds. All right, so welcome everyone. Marius is here, Vincent's here as well. We're going to run the cutscene and then we're going to get straight into this. Pizza. Okay.
No, but I've got a towel down here if you want to put it down. Okay.
All right. I've been on the run. So, we're live. Is our sound all good? Check one. I can check it here as well, I think. Just got to do this. Monitor, output, video monitor. No, not video, audio monitor. It's all very technical, isn't it? No, that's good. That's perfect. Māhina, speak for me, please.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. Yep, we're all good. Okay.
Good.
Audio monitor off. I love it. Okay, so let's talk about crew. One of the main things that we're going to cover today, what we're talking about here, is price. Okay, because there's quite a range in what you can get a skipper or a hostess or a chef crew for, and what you can, like how cheap you can get it or how expensive. There's a range in that, right?
Not that a lot of charter companies would give you an idea that there's a range, because they just tell you it's this one price.
So,
but it's not necessarily.
Exactly. So if you get an offer or something like that from charter company 1 over here, they'll be like, skipper, 220 per day. And charter company over here will be skipper, 250 euros per day. And then they'll have hostess, 120 euros per day or 220 euros per day, or, so there's this range, okay? Sometimes that range is actually managed by the type of yacht. So once you reach a certain size, or once you go to the larger catamarans, is generally actually where the number goes, then that's when that skipper is getting paid more, because they're generally a more experienced skipper. So that is
charter companies is generally more worried about dings and scrapes.
Yeah, exactly. So Chris says it was with you on the flotilla. Yeah, you were in the live, man, not joining it. Tyler Berry's here. Wallace Crofton's here. Sound is good. Thank you, Mads. William Wagwan. Wills, you're a Muppet. So like hostesses are also measured in this. So the reason we decided to do this live on this is me and Māhina were just having like this, not heated discussion, this discussion. We're very passionate about this.
We had a question.
Like,
well, we quite often have questions.
That's
right.
But
someone in the past couple of days emailed through with a question saying, well, why have you given me this range of pricing for skipper and hostess when someone else that I'm communicating with has just said to me, skipper is this, hostess is this.
Yeah.
So he was sort of, and he's not the only one, because that is exactly what charter companies do.
All the time.
Or like people will say to us, oh, well, how come you say that the skipper needs a cabin when my charter company that I've been communicating with has told me skipper doesn't need a cabin. They'll sleep in the
saloon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I hate that.
Yeah. So, David's joined us as well. Welcome, David. Afternoon, lovely people. Oh, well, thank you. It's gin time. Oh, Anna, can we have a gin? So
she might be a bit busy with your daughter.
Yeah, I think so. So the other one of the main distinguishing factors I want to talk about, and I want to talk about this with Māhina, and about skippers and hostesses, is that because there's a range in price because you've got a range in people, okay? There are skippers or licensed humans that are sort of doing like the gap year, or they're fresh out of school, they want to do something for a year, coming over, to a different country, and they're maybe fresh out of yacht week or still in yacht week, whatever it is. They don't have a heap of experience, and they're not planning on doing this long term necessarily. Some of them do, but that's like, hey, entry level skipper, and you can get that entry level skipper for 1,200 euros a week. All right, less in some cases, but 1,200 euros a week. Whereas you've then got skippers and hostesses and everything that have made a career out of this, okay? Now, that doesn't necessarily just automatically say that they get to charge way more. That's all going to be relative down to your experience level and your ability, qualifications, your reputation, your reviews, all of this, your references and everything like that. And those people are not doing this for 1,000 euros a week, okay? I don't do this for 1,000 euros a week. So that same distinction is with hostesses or chefs.
Hostesses, because they're not necessarily cooking for the whole 3 meals a day.
Yeah. Oh, and I learnt the charter world's distinction between hostess and chef the other day. Okay, this is really good because she's in the industry. What would you perceive is the difference between a hostess, if I hire a hostess, and I hire a chef?
If you hire a hostess, they are expected to do everything. If you hire a chef, they're expected to cook.
No. So that's I was like, okay, so you need
because I've seen crew where they have 3 crew. Yes. They have a skipper, a hostess, and a chef.
Yes.
And the chef literally only cooks.
Yes, that's right. So when you're looking on your booking list though, and you go, right, I'll have, especially for crew charters like Eldemars.
Yeah.
And, okay. So when you book, skipper is a skipper. All right. When you book a hostess is say 220 per day, and then a chef is actually 280 per day. So it's the same person, but it's the role that they're assigned. So a hostess is assigned, effectively, the role of a hostess is 2 meals a day, breakfast and a light lunch. This is how it's written. And how would you define that? Tidying up, keeping the common areas clean?
Not necessarily, because it's not really your boat, so it's not really your responsibility.
Okay, I would differ on that. And it's like when people are hiring a hostess, I'm explaining to them that they'll keep the common area tidy and they're going to do the dishes.
But this is where it's so hazy and so it's not clear.
No, it's
so
not.
Then you dump everything and you leave everything an absolute mess, and you expect someone to pick it up for 120 euros a week. A day.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I want to come back a section because I was defining between hostess and chef. I'll finish that because I got sidetracked.
Yeah.
Then we'll come back to this. Whereas if you book that same crew member as a chef, then they're cooking 2 to 3. It's still not 3 meals a day. It's 2 to 3 proper meals like cooked meals per day. Okay, so what? Oh,
I don't have ChatGPT, and I got told to do something on ChatGPT, and I went, I don't know how.
yeah. So 2 to 3 proper meals per day. And
So when you say proper meals,
so, yep. Do you want me to define?
how do you define that?
Again, it's not clear. It's not clear, though. Okay, I define proper meals by it's like, right, breakfast, they say breakfast and a light lunch. That's how they put it down, right? So a light lunch is not a 4-hour brunette, prepared like this, like Edis did for my guests with Sean Gallagher, whatever. Okay, that's not a light lunch.
But was she employed as a hostess or a chef?
In that was a custom trip that we did. Remember, it was kind of like a premium tour. So there wasn't a distinction on that, and she just did what she wanted to do because I was paying her real money.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm just...
Yeah.
The thing that annoys me is that there are no clear guidelines.
Yeah.
It's not laid out, and hostesses work really, really hard to build up a good reputation to get the jobs.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of hostesses, actually, that's a lie, I don't know a lot of hostesses. I know quite a few hostesses who work there. I just saw Wallace's comment popped up. Not vegan. Vegan dishes are harder to cook.
Yeah.
When you're not vegan, that is. A lot of hostesses who would cook what I would call proper meals. Honestly, I feel very intimidated and less than next to a lot of these people who work as hostesses, and they create incredible meals.
Yeah.
Like meals that I would not spend the time...
Oh my God, dog.
Bella. Meals that I would not spend the time making. Because I'm on a yacht and it's hot and I have limited kitchen space, and the meals that I cook I still think are awesome, and
and the guests still think they're awesome as well.
And at the same time, they do not have the same finesse that meals have that a lot of these girls put together. They're amazing. They're definitely proper.
Yeah, exactly.
And yet they're still only employed as hostesses.
Yeah, exactly.
So then where's the onus to then pay them more as a chef?
Okay, but often that distinction, sometimes that distinction is actually left up to them. So they could be employed as a hostess, but they're trying to grab a whole whatever.
Thank you, Blair, I love you.
You can she does make incredible meals. Like you could be employed as anything, right? And if you decide to give freely to give that level, but that's your choice because you want a good review or a tip or whatever that's called. Yeah. But it should be made clear that you're not expected to do that at the price you're being paid. And this isn't clear.
And I would, this is the whole problem I have with the industry, is I would argue that you're not expected to. Because I think a lot of people do expect it. And also a lot of hostesses, they expect it of themselves, so they get booked.
Exactly.
It's kind of becoming this self-fulfilling monster that if you don't do proper meals, you won't get booked as a hostess.
Yeah, that's right.
Which then...
And I suppose then, but if you are making a career out of it, you're going to move towards a job or a situation where you are... The ideal thing is being on one boat, right? You be on one boat, you get your galley, and you do that, and then you do what you do. You have the same
skipper. You don't have to work with different skippers, different boats, different places.
And you do what you do, and you've got a level, and they advertise the level that you do. Yeah. That's kind of like where you would head on a cruise situation.
I feel like we're getting a little bit off track.
Kind of, maybe not really. Anyway, David says he's always happy to be invited to eat on Menophiles. You're going to do solo on the Sharpen Up again so that you kind of just get invited into the family. We're getting a little bit off.
So what Anna wanted us to look up on ChatGPT is what are the questions that are most often answered about skippers, hostesses, crew on sailing holidays.
Yes.
So that's why she ran in to give me the computer, because I don't have it on mine.
Cool.
So number one, of course, what are the responsibilities of a skipper?
And so you're going to ask me, and then we're going to tell...
I'm going to ask you, and then ChatGPT's got the answer.
Okay.
But whether we agree with the answer or not is...
Okay. What are the responsibilities?
Responsibilities.
That was
IES.
I still did it wrong. I don't care. Of the skipper. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Response, I can feel that you need me to spell that correctly.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the responsibilities of the skipper? So I'm just going to add that to the broadcast so it knows what we're asking. The responsibilities of the skipper, from my point of view, is you're responsible for the yacht and its well-being underway and at dock. Okay.
Yep.
Your responsibility to brief your crew and keep your crew safe.
Yep.
Your responsibility for the boat papers and taking care of payment in and out of ports, filling up the water, cleaning and tidying and maintaining a professional feel and situation on the outside and on your own quarters. You're responsible to watch the weather and guide your crew around whatever.
Yep.
And you're a host. Like 60% of your job as a skipper in these situations, in sailing holidays, not in a different sort of merchant sailor thing, is you're a host. Okay, so you're here to host. That's most of it that I can think of.
I would say that technically the responsibilities of a skipper is not to host.
Okay, not the responsibility.
I think
no,
it
not
makes
responsibility.
sense.
It's just the reality is it's the job.
Yeah, I get that, but it's not. There are a lot of skippers. I have heard stories about skippers out there who have no interest in hosting. They drive, they park, they dock, they anchor, they're gone.
That's it. And they will never get up to getting paid €2,500 for a week.
And they will still get paid the exact amount. There's a lot of skippers who will do more than that.
Yes, and may not get booked as much. But they'll still get their rate at whatever, $1,500 a week or $250 a day or whatever it is.
So according to ChatGPT, a skipper is responsible for navigating the yacht, ensuring the safety of all passengers on board, managing anchoring and docking procedures, and monitoring weather conditions. They also provide local knowledge about destinations and can offer itinerary suggestions.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is, That's, and okay, so say that is the basic skipper situation. All right? There's nothing in there about a skipper of a sailing yacht being responsible, as in, it's not in their job description to give the guests a sailing experience, a hands-on sailing experience. That is not standard, okay? It is not something that every skipper
really
can
difficult.
do. All right? Yeah. So some skippers are not going to be able to get you involved when they're sailing because they are fresh and they're not, I was about to say not in control of the boat. That's my standard of being in control of the boat. I feel like if I can control the boat from any human that's on board, that's different.
Can we just look at the comments coming through?
Yeah.
So Blair says, you're not going to stand at the helm and not interact with clients. And some do.
Especially if you're looking at like a flybridge catamaran, okay, where the skipper just jumps up onto the flybridge and takes it somewhere and no one's really up there with him. He's not encouraging people to be up there with him. And if he's not a welcoming... Oh, depends on the boat.
Some of them, there's not really any room.
If it's a flybridge catamaran, there's room. That flybridge meaning you're up right on top. If it's a Lagoon 42 with there's like one seat there, 2 seats there. So if they don't make that a welcoming space to be there with them, if they don't encourage it, people won't go. It'll be like awkward. And so they will do that, Blair. Safety of the crew on the boat as a minimum,
Yeah, you'd think so, right?
You'd think. So yeah, like that's the skipper's responsibility. When I think about, okay, we'll go to the other end of the scale, which is effectively what I strive to be when I skipper, is I'm a host. Okay, I'm a host, I'm a teacher, I'm a local tour guide that's being forthcoming with stuff. I'm event organizer because we're going to make sure that we're going to places and do things that people are going to enjoy. When Māhina and I do this as a team, we're like, there's so much, the sailing side of it is so little.
Okay, but forget about us as a team for now, because we're talking about skippers.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and do all these things, including get people really hands-on with the sailing if they're interested. Encourage the kids to do, it's all this stuff comes under what I'm doing. And I charge more for my skipper week than I think I know anyone charges for.
I would also point out you're on job 24/7.
Yeah, true.
Which a lot of skippers are not necessarily. And when I say that, I don't just mean that obviously you're there to wake up if the anchor drags or if something happens in the middle of the night, but you're there at breakfast with them. You're there first thing in the morning. You're there during the day. You're interacting with the kids and the adults, and you go out for a wine with them at the end of the day. You're really there 24/7, and that's a very, very, very long day.
Yeah. So
to be doing 7 days a week.
Yeah. Whereas the minimum of a skipper could literally be where are we going today? I'll drive you there. I'll stop. Okay, cool. You guys good? I'm off. I can go and sit at the pub. That is a very real thing. We'll tell that story soon from a response last year. Boyan says, Nick, I think what you described is 100% what I usually heard from my skipper friends in Croatia. Which one? I think that came in earlier. So do you mean like that minimum?
Or this hosting part?
Yeah. Just can you clarify that one, Boyan? Because I think that's really good. Nico says, Nick is a skipper with benefits then. Effectively, yeah, like what we're calling what I'm selling now, because Māhina's only doing, me and Māhina, because of baby, we're only doing 6 premium tours a year, or 6 weeks out on the water together. So I've got a sale. We're calling it a premium skippered charter.
But we also still get requests from people, like we had quite a few requests last year, can you find me a skipper who's good with children?
Yeah.
Because that's not a given.
No.
There are a lot of skippers out there who just don't have the experience or the head for dealing with kids on the boat, which is normal. It's not knocking it or anything. Can you find me a skipper who, we had someone who asked, can you find me a female skipper? Because it was a bunch of females on board the boat and they wanted to be more comfortable. So there are these more specialised requests.
Yeah, and if someone asks us to find them a skipper, and I'm looking at their group, I'm not just going out on boom, we found someone that can do the job. So indeed, Nico, totally. Okay, so Nick, you skip it. You're also instructor and host. I think it's much higher level service. And that's what I expect from myself. And I've learned over the years that that's what that's worth. So this is why there's a sliding scale. Now, that sliding scale is just as real for a hostess or a chef. Okay, so if you
Can we just stick to skippers for now? Because I've got a hostess.
Okay. Where else do you want to go on the skipper then?
Well, Boyan's responded.
Okay. So, Boyan says that the responsibility of each navigation, weather,
for
and all
yacht
that.
navigation. He corrected himself.
Thank you.
Comment.
Yeah, the leash. And keeping the professional looking environment, tidy up the outside appearance. Exactly. And I get really frustrated when I am, say, on a pier at Startigrad or whatever like that. And if anyone knows me, like the people have come up to me on YouTube channel, all this sort of stuff. If I'm in Startigrad after the boat's docked, what am I doing?
Cleaning.
I'm cleaning the boat. All right. I've now got unlimited fresh water, all this sort of stuff. I'm cleaning the boat. It will be, no matter what boat I'm sailing, it will be the best looking boat on the dock. Whether it's a old shitty boat, it'll be tidy. All the lines will be clear. It'll look good and it'll be clean.
And the funny thing is that we actually network and look for skippers at that time because the skippers that we like, that we want to employ, that we want to work with are the skippers who are also cleaning their boats.
Yeah.
We've approached skippers more than once, say, hey, I'm Nick from 45 Degrees, I'm Māhina from 45 Degrees, who are you, what do you do, can we book you? Because if there is someone who is clearly a paid skipper and they're cleaning their boat, then it's someone we want to work with. Because it doesn't always happen. And when it does, it's cool.
Yeah. And that's it. It's like, so like if you ever want a chance of booking through us as a skipper or anything like that, you're going to need to do minimum these 3 things. 1, be awesome. 2, put your fenders away if you're not at the dock. Period. That's it. Put them away. Put them in the locker. Put them in your cabin if you have to. And 3, never, ever have an ugly power cable screwed up in a ball at the dock. You'll never get a job with me.
Power cable spaghetti is not cool.
Can't stand it. Anyway, so that's the sort of stuff we do, and that's what you're looking for, and that's what I consider at a minimum the professional level of a skipper. When we see boats that are skippered by, I'm like, if that's a bunch of dudes and one mate is skippering, cool, I get it. They get in there, going drinking, they don't want to clean up, they don't care. That's the way they're living. They don't have pride in the boat. That's fine. That's for them. But as soon as I find out that is a paid skipper, I'm like, hey, I'll introduce myself, find out where he works, and who he is, so I make sure I never book that guy as a skipper. Anyway, all that girl is a skipper. We're always looking for something like that. So,
and I think that's the risk that you run when you book with when you book with a charter company that are like, okay, here's a flat rate for just a skipper.
Yeah,
you run the risk of getting somebody who doesn't take that pride in their job. I mean, alternatively, you could still get someone awesome. It's entirely possible. There are some awesome skippers out there.
Yeah.
It's just
there's agencies that are designed for finding skippers that should be better. Okay, there's whatever. In my view, in the next 5 years, I would love to be able to build this. It's like, right, let's build a proper skippers profile database where skippers can build their own profiles, add their own videos, all this sort of crap.
They can collect reviews.
Update on their trips to see and they can collect reviews from their guests, legitimized reviews from their guest. Okay, and then they're like, right, this week I was paid this much on this boat. Like, it can be very out in the open, and that's absolutely fine. Languages, all this sort of stuff, experience with kids, verified reviews. That's what I look at in the future. At the moment, we don't have that. We have a little bit of trust and a network of people we know.
Yeah.
And then when I don't have one in my
network,
network,
and introduce ourselves.
That's it. So that's our sliding scale of skippers. Your average cost for a skipper is 220 euros per day. And if you're paying any lower than that, expect a less experienced or less capable skipper, potentially younger, not necessarily that younger is an issue. I made this point to someone else. It's like, look, my first year here in Croatia, I was awesome. I was awesome at skippering the boat. I was not awesome at knowing everyone in every port because it was my first year. And so having the phone numbers in your phone, having all of this network, that is part of it. So just be aware. And
keep going.
I think I lost my train of thought when you breathed,
Sorry.
and it's not your fault.
I just read Graham's comment.
What did Graham say?
I've seen it where the boat comes into the marina and the skipper gets off the boat and doesn't show up again until the next morning night before departure.
Yep,
that happens.
Tell that story.
We have a friend who actually, she was a hostess. Her first hostess gig was with Nick.
It is.
Which is quite memorable because I didn't want him to do a gig with a hostess.
Yetiko, you almost died
to hate
that day.
her, and I really, really like her.
Still
awesome.
a good friend. Yep.
And she, I think her second gig.
Not to mention, whenever we can, we book her and her partner's trips on
book
their...
her.
Yeah,
100%. She's amazing. She cooks better than I do. And I think it was her second gig after you.
Yeah.
That...
whatever, yeah.
She was on the boat with a family and a skipper. The skipper literally would drive, put the anchor down, take the dinghy, and leave. So
put this into context. Someone has come in for a bareboat charter, meaning they're renting the boat. They've requested a skipper and they've requested a hostess. So we didn't put this together. They put together all of these things for this client, okay? So that the agency says, cool, have a Bavaria 51 5 cabin, and cool, we've got a skipper and a hostess. Skipper gets a cabin, hostess gets a bunk cabin, whatever, okay? Or there's a skipper's cabin. We'll talk about those soon. And then put them in with the family. Skipper didn't know the hostess didn't know the skipper, no one knew anyone. They put them together and they bumble the way through it. The family doesn't know how this works. So on the boat we've also got a fresh hostess, okay? 3 weeks in. And so they go out and they just like, oh, this is how it is. And they just accept it.
Yeah.
That's not okay. To arrive at a port, put the boat on a mooring ball and take the tender and leave your guests stranded.
And so Nico has said here, booking a skipper sight unseen would make me so nervous. Living with a person you've never met on a boat for a week feels risky.
Yeah.
And then Anna says, yes, Nico, even more if I have kids.
Yes.
And that's the part that really, because there's a big difference between a skipper who knows to watch out for kids.
Yeah.
And a skipper who doesn't.
And the situations they're going to put them in, the weather they choose to go in. It's not about the capability of the skipper or the boat. That is about the trust and the rapport and the feeling that has been built with that family, mum especially, but the mum and dad. But kids as well, because if you don't establish a rapport with kids, they're not going to listen to you when you say, oi, stop, that's dangerous. Yeah. So just a huge amount of stuff to unpack in that kind of. So
then you get on to accommodations for skippers.
All right.
So if you have a skipper who is worth the money, you trust them, they do everything that they should, where do they sleep?
Where do they sleep? That's it. So a while back, someone said, I'll sleep in the saloon. I can sleep in the saloon. Marius, says, I can sleep in the saloon, but only when I'm on a boat with family or friends, no one else. Which
makes sense.
Yeah, it's not okay to put a professional skipper with to pay a skipper to be on a boat with a bunch of people and not give them a space to retreat to.
But I think it's, if you look at it from this perspective, this person is in charge of your deposit of the boat that you're on.
Mm-hmm.
He is in charge of your safety, of you and your children. He is in charge of... No, Nico, not the dinghy.
What? No. I think that was delayed. Remember, I have a delay on my comments. Carry on. Finish it.
He's in charge of all these things. A skipper can make or break your holiday.
Yeah.
Would you not want that skipper to get sleep?
Yeah.
Would you not want that skipper to be comfortable and well rested? There's the saloon. It's obvious why that's not a good idea. You want to stay up drinking till 2 a.m. and your skipper's in the saloon and not getting any sleep, and then they have to get up early tomorrow and get off anchor and take you somewhere awesome on 3 or 4 hours sleep. That doesn't sound like a smart idea.
Yeah.
But also in catamarans and monohulls, you have these skippers cabins.
Yeah.
That are very small, are quite often not air conditioned, and may or may not have access to a bathroom.
Yeah. So, look, this is Lagoon 42, stock standard Toyota Camry of the catamaran world, all right? Common. And they say, how many cabins has it got? 4 plus 2. How many people can it take? 8 plus 2 plus 2. 12 people on that boat.
Which, what that means is, to break it down for people who don't speak charter, what that means is 8 people in cabins.
4, 6, 8.
2 people in the saloon.
2 people in here. That they're saying that bed is convertible enough for 2 people to sleep. And 1 and 1 in the coffins.
We call them coffins, or bat caves, they call them in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
which is slightly less morbid than coffins.
Okay, so context around that. This is the hatch that accesses the bat cave. That there is behind there. Have I got another angle of that? I took the photos. I should know. No. Oh, that might. That does. Okay, so that's the top access hatch to this boat, to the skipper's cabin. Okay, that there is a small hatch through to the cabin. So those are the two airflows. If it's raining, you're stuffed. Now the bed is about that far above that hatch, below that hatch. Okay, so if you imagine the level of that bunk is about here. If I kneel and sit up straight like this, the top half of my body is out of that hatch. Okay, so this is a coffin. I cannot. There's no way I can stand up in there. I can hardly get changed in there. I have to get changed lying down. Okay, and there is no toilet in there. There is nothing. So for the skipper to access the toilet, or the hostess, or whatever it is, and look, plenty of skippers will know this, and I've done this. Me and Edis have done this on a job as well. Is that this is our cabin? No access to a toilet. We've got to go into the cabin. No air conditioning, and it's just horrid. So where do we get changed? Where do we do all that? It's in there. I end up sleeping in a hammock under here. Anyway, so that is the context around a 42-foot catamaran when they say 4 plus 2 cabins. Yeah. Those 2 cabins, if you book a boat through 45-degree sailing and you say, hey, I want a skipper, that doesn't cut it. You can have 6 people in 4 double cabins and a skipper in a cabin. Skipper gets a cabin. Skipper gets a cabin with access to a bathroom. Because you also, if they have this cabin and they come inside, the access to all of these bathrooms on this boat is inside the cabin. And that's not
No matter
fair.
how much you say, yeah, you can use my bathroom, if I'm working and I'm not going to go into a guest bathroom of someone that I don't know. That's just creepy and uncomfortable and weird. And this is industry standard. Yeah. This is normal. People come into this industry as a hostess or skipper and they get told this is what you have to put up with. And I disagree.
Yeah, that's it. It wasn't what I was expecting that comment to say. Basically, you're saying better to get qualified, do lots of training with that, can go and sharpen up flotillas, and then you can be very happy doing it yourself. 100%. Isn't the dinghy almost like a floating sleeping pad? Oh, so Nico said you could sleep in the dinghy.
I know, that's what I was...
Oh, I didn't get that, sorry.
He can sleep in the dinghy. I'm not putting a skipper in the dinghy.
What did Darko say?
I don't know. I
No.
couldn't find that comment.
Okay, and get them set free, and you can still hear just.
Yeah, and Graham makes a very valid point there.
Yeah.
That a lot of Croatians host worker skippers are very tall people. They don't fit in there either. They're great fun for kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, she did complain about airflow. Imagine this is your job and you can't get a decent night's sleep.
Oh, yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
It's not okay.
I was on a Lagoon 40 doing that, or 39. There's no way I fit in that cabin to sleep. It just wasn't possible. I tried it one night. That was it. I was in a hammock or outside the rest of the night.
So we always purport that you give your skipper and your crew a cabin.
Yeah. So then let's make sure we learn on the other part of that. So you must have a cabin and access to a bathroom. That's what's important. I'm looking for yachts. I want to show a different yacht. I want to show a crude charter. Let's actually go to Zara, because this is summary 50.
They've got a layout for that.
Yeah, they've got a layout for that. Or do I have to go to I might have to go to the website. So Edis went on to sail this boat. Just crunch here. And they're just killing it. I love it. This is a Sunray 50 when it loads and shows.
Layout and specs.
And they're just killing it now. But when you book a boat like this is a crude charter. Okay, there she is, white gloves and all like that. This is a 40,000 euros a week.
Yeah,
trip.
she rocks at this. I can't do this.
Yeah,
she rocks at it.
the food's awesome. Okay, but this boat, come on, make that bigger. I can make it bigger. All right, so when you do this, you're booking that. They're allowing the trip for up to 8 guests. Okay, across 4 double cabins. That's it. That's what you're allowed, because the crew have their own cabin and their own access to a bathroom.
Yep.
They have it there. So you don't need to worry, but it's a bunk cabin or anything like this. No, it's a designated thing that they have. They work that boat all week. So
they also live on that during summer.
Pretty much, yeah.
So they have got their systems.
Yeah.
They have got where everything goes. They've got it down pat.
That's it. So
that's the difference between bringing in a random skipper and hostess onto a boat they're not familiar with.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the difference. And so then we've got ones like this one. So we sell this one as well, which is a crude charter. But this is a crude charter that's got the opportunity of being a skipper only for 1 crew, or for if you want 2 crew, then it changes the layout, because they say, right, cabins 5 for guests plus 1 for crew, okay, or berth 8 for guests plus 2 kids plus 2 for crew. Okay, so cabins 5 for guests, that should say for 10 guests. But if we look at this layout, that's the difference, is that they've got a skipper's cabin in here, okay? So in this boat, there is a skipper's bunk. This is a 50-footer, so there's a lot more headroom. There's a lot more room. There's not a lot of, you can't stand up in here. In one side, and a whole bathroom in the other side. It's not glamorous. It's not glamorous. But it's at least better off. Hopefully some of these boats have got air conditioned piped to the skipper's cabin, but not often. Now,
and that's an owner. Depends on who owns the boat and who runs the boat as to where the air conditioning is piped to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a model-based thing.
I've never come across a Lagoon 500 or 52 that's got air conditioning in there. Now the deal is like, right, that's got 6, that's got 5 double cabins or whatever for the guests, 6 double cabins for the guest. But if you want a hostess, then you've got to give up another cabin. So they make that very clear. They don't necessarily
come as a couple.
Yeah, I mean, even if they did, that skipper's cabin is not couple worthy. Yeah. Okay, so I like companies that are very clear about that, and that's what we're looking at booking. And everyone knows the deal; it's very clear.
Because in my opinion, your crew are taking care of you for the week, so take care of them. Yeah,
that's it. Oceanus 51.1. I have excellent sunbeds under the bimini, and you can sleep there. Tried that. Yes, you can. And if it's a still night, it's a really heavy dew. And you've got to remake your bed each day. And if it gets windy at night, it gets cold.
And you have no privacy. And you may or may not have access to a bathroom.
We get it. Like, Māhina and I worked a Sun Odyssey 49i in 2016, 155 days straight. No air conditioning. We had our own cabin, but it was so hot. And I'm like a freaking radiating heater. So 5 nights out of 7, we drag our mattresses up onto that area under the boom, and build our bed up there, sleep up top, drag it all down at 6 o'clock in the morning when we woke up before the guests got up. That's where we slept. That's just the way we did it. Until guests were like, oh, that looks awesome. And we're like, yeah, you can do that tonight. That's fine. But that happened. So yeah, I get it, Marius. That's 100%. Oh, I just pressed finish.
Now, another one of the questions here on ChatGPT says, is the skipper's fee included in the charter price? And I would say, is the skipper's fee and or the hostess's fee included in the charter price?
Okay, very good. So skippers, and when you get sent what's called a skippered charter, that varies. They'll say, hey, this price includes skipper. And it has to state it, but it's not, there's no like most time it is, most time, there's no rule, okay?
So I would say the rule is most often no.
Most often no, because they're trying to bring the base price of the boat down to get people in the door.
If you are choosing to have a skipper, so you're electing to have a skipper and you could potentially drive the boat yourself if you had a license, then no, that skipper's fee is not going to be included in the charter price.
No.
If you are chartering a crewed or a skippered boat, then maybe that's going to be something that you're going to have to chill out with your charter company and see whether it is or not, because there's no guarantees either way.
What we're selling with me on Mila Felice at the moment, and there's a couple of specials on this right now, is it's included in the price. So we plan, so we say, right, this is what's included. Skipper, Nick, yacht, Mila Felice, and here's the equipment and all this sort of stuff. And we're very, very clear what is laid out. What I do need to do is edit this and say crew cabin on here.
That crew cabin looks huge.
I have to say that every time I show it to people.
It looks so big.
The bed's definitely slightly bigger than these ones, but the headroom and all sorts of stuff is not. And anyway, it's through the galley. That's my cabin or mine and Māhina's cabin.
Fun fact, I couldn't sleep in that cabin for the first year that we did trips on the
it was too closed in for you, wasn't it?
It was too closed in, and now I love the closed-inness of it. And we just did the flotilla, and we were in the master
cabin, which I love.
I cried.
It's this one
because I wanted my little pokey crew cabin back.
That's the one. So look, this is what it. So we say and we lay it out. Here's all the equipment included: satellite internet, Starlink internet, blah blah blah. And then,
but that's because we do a package.
Yeah, so we do a package, and we say we've got inclusions. There we go. Boom. This is what's included: yacht charter, Nick's skipper fee, and my food. So you, in this case,
actually, that segues into another good question.
Yes, we need to do that. But hang on. Personalized itinerary. Yeah, we buffed this up because we offer a lot more within our package. All of our equipment that we've bought with the Starlink and the paddle boards and the coffee machines and all the best crap is all just included. Hammocks.
We have found that a lot of these things are very grey with other charter companies, so we want to be clear.
Yeah, and like starters so that you don't have to go and buy every little thing for the kitchen. So look, that's it. And then we've got exclusions, not in tiny writing that's smaller than the inclusions, in the same place. APA 1500, this is for as the skipper to be able to have advanced provisioning allowance, it's called, money for docking fees and fuel at the end and all that sort of stuff. Provisioning and meal preparation, so that's them because it's skippered, Māhina's not doing it for them. Meals and drinks, gratuities, can arrange transfers, blah, blah, blah. And then we have our prices.
Okay, 2 points from that.
Yep.
Is food for your crew and gratuities. So
yes.
We need to cover those two.
Okay,
things.
we do. That's excellent. So that's what it is. So when you get a boat price, very likely it'll have the crew price added to it below. So that's really, really important to remember. So let's hit, who do we have here? Nico, I did see those tiny bunks before, never realized you're actually putting crew in there. We put fenders in there. Fenders and, talking about the lagoons, we put fenders and hard luggage and things that we want to get out of the way. Yeah, rolled up subs and all that sort of stuff. I like that. APA is such a great idea. Yeah, they've been doing it for a long time. Okay, so yes, skipper plus food. So generally it'll always say on a listing, I had one of those up listings before, I'll find it, and it says skipper, $220 per day plus food. Māhina, can you roll on that while I find this?
I can't remember how much that is for food.
Say 40, but that's just a meal. That's just a dinner.
So what a lot of people are confused about is, do skipper and hostesses share food with them, share meals? What happens when you go out for dinner, like you dock in Starting Guard or Vest or something, and you go out for a meal? What happens there? Because, people just don't know. So how does it work? Because you know this better than I do.
Yeah, so I brought up a wrong example for this. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, here's meal and fleece. Oh, that's going to read wrong. Hang on, because that's us. Hunter 5 Let's go for this one. Okay, so in your additional equipment services, obligatory. Okay, obligatory. And then you've got skipper. There we go. $2.20 per day plus food. That's what is listed here on this one. Payable to skipper. So they're also listing that, okay? So $2.20 a day plus food. That means your food, if you're provisioning and eating on the boat, breakfast and lunch, standard sort of role, you're just provisioning for the skipper as well, okay? So that's all included in there. If you eat on board at night and you're cooking, the skipper's included in that. If you go out for dinner, you're paying for their meals and their drinks, or whatever's going on at the table, you're covering that. That's how it works. Sometimes there's some situations like the skipper will take you to a friend's restaurant, and because the skipper's bringing you there, he eats for free anyway, so you don't pick up that bill and whatever. This is one side, and that helps to have a local skipper for that sort of thing.
They also generally take you to really good places.
That's the one. So then if you have, and I really drill this down to guests because we love a night off. Okay, so say we go into Stardigrad or whatever town.
Because like I said, you're on 24/7.
Oh yeah, and you know we just anyway. So they say, hey, we're going to go out for dinner tonight, but you know you might have booked somewhere fancy and you don't actually want to pay for another fancy meal, or you just you want
valid.
You want some time as a family, or the skipper's a bit. This is real as well. The skipper's a bit of a douche or whatever, and you're not enjoying. You just don't want to spend extra time with them, whether he's a douche or not. Just because you don't want to spend extra time with him.
We've had clients say to us, and I don't think we're douches, you know, do you mind if we just have this night as a family dinner because we're celebrating something?
Yeah.
We've had that happen, which is cool. It's fine.
And we encourage that in our briefing.
Yeah.
We say, you guys want to go out without us? No offense whatsoever. Actually, we kind of love it. Anyway, so if that's the case, the general fee for dinner is €40. Okay, so if you say, hey, we're going to go out for dinner, here's, and you'll decide with your skipper that either you're going to give him cash on the night, here's €40, cool. He'll go take care of himself. If he's anything like any of us, we'll get a €9 meal, put the rest in our pocket for savings, and then go to sleep. Or go drink with our friends, whatever it is. But that's how that works. Don't be afraid to ask for that, and clear all this up at the beginning of the week.
Yeah.
If you haven't paid your skipper in the advanced, pay your skipper on day one.
And skippers normally get paid in cash, I think, is something that a lot of people don't necessarily realise.
Yeah, and it's, really depending on who you're booking through these days. Really depends.
Sometimes that goes through charter companies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then I stand corrected.
It really depends, because it became a little bit easier to account for it anyway.
Totally.
So that's how your food works. If you've got a hostess, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay? They're going to provision for everyone on the boat. You're included, especially the meals when they're out. But if you eat out, then if there's not provisions on the boat for them, sometimes that's also, you can say, hey, we've bought food, but you don't expect the skipper to cook themselves a meal at the end of the day. Okay? If he does, that's cool. He still gets his €40 cash. All right? That's how it works.
I would also like to point out, because we had a job where these people didn't eat all day. They ate lettuce and drank black coffee.
Oh, those people.
And so I always say to people, remember the food that you're cooking or that you're making or that you're having available during the day. Please remember that your skipper is working all day. They need to be adequately fed.
Yeah. Yeah, just
decent breakfast. Doesn't have to be elaborate, just has to be decent. I mean, even muesli and fruit and yogurt is decent.
Especially in the summer.
But just make sure that your skipper is actually getting fed.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, 100%.
Are we going to standardise what?
Are we going to standardise this for skippers booked through 45D?
Standardise what?
Elaborate, please, David. Are we going to standardise payment? Are we going to standardise expectations, money? What do you mean by that? Please, elaborato.
Yes, you should. You're a good skipper. Yes.
Yes.
100%.
And the boat and everything. And everything. I hope they're watching this. Send it to them.
Send it to them.
Well, guys, I just want you to see this just for protocol. Yeah. So look, that's it. Now, with what? With those prices for stuff, for skippers and stuff like that, that sliding scale is somewhere from about 150 euros a day up to 350 euros a day for skippers or hostess. Okay, so you are going to get what you pay for. Period. You will get what you pay for.
I would say expect to get what you pay for.
Expect to get what you pay for.
Expect to get what you pay for. If you pay at the lower end of the scale, you'll expect to get a lower end of the scale skipper.
Yeah, that's it.
The reality of it is a lot of skippers work for way less than they're worth.
Yeah, and hostesses, 100%.
Especially hostesses.
We've got a real B&R on it about the way hostesses are paid and generally
viewed.
treated over here. But yeah, with these cabins and everything like that. So
I don't think it's over here. I think it's in general in the yachting industry.
I agree. We don't have a context around the yachting industry outside of here in the last 5 years.
I have big opinions.
I
Until I'm
know
proven
you
wrong,
have big
I have
opinions,
big
baby
opinions.
girl. Very big opinions, and they're all so valid most of the time.
Until they're not. David's comment.
Standard, the whole arrangement with the skipper, when paid, where they sleep, getting fed, 40 euros for a meal, short, etc. Yes. So when we supply a skipper, or organize a skipper. So there's sort of two ways you can do that. I have a service that I do when people are booking skippers. I say, right, and we're booking the boats for them. We can say, look, the charter company is going to supply the skipper if you choose to have a skipper like this. And if you're getting the skipper through the charter company you're booking the boat through, and it's a reputable charter company, and it's not the cheapest boat in the world and all that sort of stuff, imagine that the charter company are well invested in getting a skipper that's going to look after their boat and get them good. Yeah, so I'm not saying you don't book it through me, you're getting a crap skipper. Not at all. And you could get a couple of really awesome wild cards that are just amazing and are getting paid less than they're worth. Anyway.
It's more than a couple of those.
Yeah, but as in if they get them a couple out of their trips. Anyway, if you book 45D to book for a skipper, I will spend hours hunting around my networks and finding the skippers that are available that I know or that I can get recommended by 3, 4, 5 people and reviews on them, and they're going to fit resumes, CVs, and I have a call with them to make sure they're going to fit your crew. All right. So I charge for that. I can't spend the time doing that. I think we charge 200 euros or something like that for that. Okay. Or we're going to issue you with a 45D skipper, which is going to be potentially sometimes myself coming up in 2025 and 26. It's going to be Blair.
Yeah.
First time I've said that out loud. Given everything goes well.
But also, if we find your skipper and it turns bad, which it has only done once, then we will fix it.
We will fix it.
Which we did.
For sure. So we might let any questions come up, and we'll end on that story because that is a really important story, and that's an important part of our ethos here and how we roll. So what other questions?
I think we've covered everything. It talks about things like, will the skipper and hostess share meals with us?
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about the skipper assisting with itinerary planning, but that's...
Okay, this is relevant. This is relevant because we sell itinerary planning and we sell our Bareboat Assist program. Now, when someone says to me, hey, they've looked at 45D services, they've read the reviews, and they're like, oh, I want this and I want this, and can you do an itinerary plan for us? And there's 390 euros that I could just earn right there. But they've also asked for a skipper, okay? So I'm straight up. I'm like, look, it's not necessary for me to do an itinerary plan with you. If you want to give me your money and we'll spend an hour and a half going over this stuff and giving you suggestions, we got one of these the other day and we're still doing it, and I can help you out with where you might want to go based on what you know, because I've got a lot of knowledge around that. Cool. But getting an itinerary plan is very much part of what the skipper is going to do for you. Also, this is actually more important. If you're going with a skipper, if you book a trip with Māhina and I, we have got in our quiver of places to take you this whole lot of people we know, all this sort of things, places we know. So when you say, oh, we'd love a winery and a this and that, we're like, okay, cool. Let's go south of Whā, or let's go to Hora, or we've got our places. Now every skipper's got those as well. Every good skipper and every experienced skipper. So we'll come to that. Every experienced skipper. So if I do an itinerary plan that's all the places I like that I think they'll enjoy, that's cool and all.
Where you know the people.
Where I know the people, that's cool and all, but it's kind of putting that skipper on the back foot. And you could have a great trip with that skipper going around his version of that. And he's much more comfortable and he's going to be able to be better at his or her job anyway.
I
job.
remember a story about Vishki. When Vishki did a job for some of our clients.
Oh yeah, we
years
booked
ago.
him. We booked him on a cat last year.
And he liked this
yeah.
family so much that he took them to his home village,
Yeah.
and his mother cooked for them, and they were just so wowed, and they talked about this so much, and it was so cool. And that
I can't do that.
that is that's what a good skipper does.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this place, is you have these people who are so proud of where they come from, and that just oozes out of them, and it's contagious, and everyone has an amazing trip because of that.
That's it. So yeah, so when someone says that, I go, hey, no, let's not make an itinerary plan for you. That's for when you're skippering and you want advice and all this sort of stuff. And as I say, I'm now going to add this version of an itinerary plan, which is going to be cheaper, and it's not going to be all the follow-up PDF and all of the other stuff. And that it's going to be
a guideline.
It's going to be just this time to say, let's talk about what you want, and I'm going to give you some ideas so that you can tell the skipper, we really like the idea of doing these things, and here's some suggestions we've had. I think we'll create that as an optional service, not on the site, but I'll talk.
But it's only for when you've got a skipper.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it for when you've got a skipper.
Because nothing beats the personal touch, and there are skippers out here who know these waters and these islands like the backs of their hand.
That's it. And I hunted for boats and for skippers and everything for this. I really want to put the good package together for these people. They wanted to book a trip with us, but we only take up to 6 people on a real boat. So they wanted to go on a catamaran. They had 8 of them or whatever it was. So I was like, right, I need to find the right thing. And then when I booked their boat, I got, right, say on a 47 Quintet. Oh no, it's 51 or Rhea. Great boat, great catamaran. Take the mast off, it'll be even better. And then I got Vishki for the skipper. I was just like, yes, I'm just like 100%. I know that's going to work. So done. And I didn't have to worry about it at all. So,
and those skippers, like Vishki, are worth their weight in gold.
Yeah, he's a much better skipper than he is base manager. It's so true.
Because he doesn't like dealing with the yucky customers.
Yeah. So David says, but aren't you going to have a problem with clients not understanding Blair's accent? We've actually developed a translation AI. So I think it's going to be all right.
No, we're going to send Ludo along to translate.
Blair, fall down. No, very, very, very cool. So look, we've got a story to share. We've got 35 viewers. Like, if you haven't said hello and tell us where you're watching from, I'd love that right now. That's great interaction for us, and it's good to know. Please click the thumbs up button, because we've only got 9 likes, and I want to see it go bling, 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 bling.
I should click the thumbs up button too.
Oh. Have you ever heard of a charter demanding you hire their skipper because they don't believe in your competence? I've seen this in Charter and Charter 10C. Yes. And I do really. Our Hunts are 548, which is not too big for normal skippers to rent or anything like that. I don't want anyone skippering that. Okay, we're renting it out, but I'm mainly doing skippered charters. It's going out on select few bareboat charters. And that's based on the fact that they've got a CV and I've approved that I think they're going to be okay, and they've got their own skipper's insurance, or they get the deposit insurance. Okay, now if that skipper showed up and got on the boat, it is in the T's and C's that if you demonstrate yourself to be unfit to manage or not capable of safely managing that vessel, then you will be required to hire a skipper for your week. Yes, I've heard of that, and it's a legitimate thing. It's more of an old style thing, because they used to do a non-licensed, you only need a VHF license to charter boats.
But they also, they used to do this in the Caribbean, I don't know if they still do, but that you have to submit your sailing resume.
Yeah.
If you want to charter your own, if you want to skipper your own boat, you have to submit your resume. And then the charter
and
company
there's boats here for that too. Yeah.
has the right to approve or deny.
Yeah, but and what he's saying is basically demanding you hire the skipper because they don't believe you're competent. Yeah, no, this is.
But that will be it. If they don't like your resume, then they would say, okay, well, you need to. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. But I read that more as like, hey, we've rented a boat, they've accepted our license, but then you show up and they're like, you're not competent.
Yeah,
so now we're demanding. But no, boy, I'm 100% heard of that, and I think it's a very real thing, and I agree
actually
with
don't think it happens enough.
No, I don't know that. There's so much damage on boats.
I've seen some skippers leave we had a catamaran leave the dock in front of Mela Felice. We were on Mela Felice with our guests getting ready to depart. It was a Saturday, and a catamaran hit us on the way out. If you can't get out of the marina...
I've got a new stainless steel Ultra anchor now. If he had hit that, I would have deployed it on his boat.
Okay.
But no, like there was no, and like there was boats. How many boats sunk last year from incompetent crew and
Way
skippers?
too many.
Like,
I think more boats sunk last year than has collectively in the whole time we've been here.
yeah, still stunning itinerary. Good on you, Guppy. I've had to submit one in the Caribbean. Yeah,
so they're still doing it.
Yeah.
I presume that was recently.
Well, if you try and rent a Hansa 588 here, it's like Hot Stuff or Mischief, the one we took, the one that got
that's
stolen.
right. I forget that other people have to do that.
I didn't have to submit it because they know me.
Or because they know you're sailing.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, that is skipper CV required for this, not just a license.
Okay, interesting. Nico.
I've seen 4 boats not being allowed, or being asked to not leave the marina on Saturday last October, while they were encouraging us to get out quick and catch some of the Oh yeah, look, you can tell straight away if that skipper's crapping themselves, or if they start getting ready to leave and they don't even know what the mooring lines are. Well, I was on a Hansa in Marina Karstella, sailing out of Croatia with Bata.
Yeah.
And next door, the guys, they did fine. I'm not knocking them for this. But they asked me that I was watching them, and they're like, "How do we figure this out? How do we figure this out?" And then I see them go to leave the dock. This is not a criticism. They were from Australia, and stern to with lazy lines, bow lines like that is not.
It's not common practice.
No one knows.
It's not practice at all. It's not even uncommon practice. You just don't do that in Australia.
So
we've had a lot of comments from people in Australia saying, "Oh, those boats are touching." Because in New Zealand and Australia, you don't touch other boats.
Oh yeah, someone on some of my videos is like, "No, you've lost marks because your fender's leant against the boat next to you."
To be fair, your dad would say something along those lines because
that's
just how you boat in New Zealand. You don't come that close to other boats to be able to touch your fenders.
Yeah. So
these Aussies were doing that.
Yeah, and anyway, so they go to drop some lines, and they're about to leave, and it's a husband-wife, and he's like, "Okay, we'll do this. They were taking their time, and they go to leave, and then they're driving out, and I was like, "Stop." And they're like, "Oh, what?" And I was like, "Stop, go into reverse now." And he's like, "Ah," and I get into reverse and I tie him back up again. And he's like, "What?" He still had his bow lines on, and he was driving out, and the lazy line was attached to the dock, and it was about to go up into his prop. So I stopped them there, and I helped them out, and I like, "Hey, this is how it works." Now, if I was the charterer in that situation, I would have still let them go, because the way they went about what they did was in control and was calm and was like a skipper should do. He screwed it up, as in he missed some things. He didn't get it. The communication was off.
First time.
Yeah, between the two.
Yeah.
But whatever. That would be a chance of, okay, it's a nice day. And no, they're going to learn this. But yeah. And whereas in another situation, someone had done that and done it fast and caught the line, I'd have been like, get off the boat.
Okay, so Jopi or Yopi said that a sailing resume still doesn't mean someone knows mid-mooring. Go in reverse, how to handle lines.
That's it.
Totally bang on.
Yeah, your videos will go, "Oh, that's great. That's great to hear." Yeah, and I mean, that's why they want to see the resume. Where have you sailed and what have you sailed and who did you sail it with, so I can call them and say, "Hey, did they destroy your boat?" Because that's a real thing. Yeah. Back up there, Nico said, "I thought it was because I was rocking the 45D swag."
Because they were encouraging Nico to get out of the marina.
Dude.
Of course it was. Nothing to do with the fact that you've probably chartered with them quite a few times and they know that you're competent.
That's the one. Boyan said, "I've only chartered in Croatia so far, home turf, but planning in the Caribbean next year and curious to see how the CV thing works in practice, e.g. how picky." Look, dude, they'll just let you do it. 100% they will. If you've got your license and all that sort of thing.
And I think it's just dependent. It's like here. It's charter company to charter company.
Yeah. And look, Boyan, the other thing is, I think taking sailing experiences from here and then going to the Caribbean is a much less shock than from Caribbean sailors coming to here. Because especially these people, and it's a fair generalization, but you get a lot of sailors from Northern Hemisphere or from the US coming down to BVI, Caribbean, Lesser Antilles, to charter these big catamarans. They're like, "Yeah, I've done 55-foot cats before, 50-foot cats before." Cool. What they've done is had the boat driven out for them out of the marina on the first day. And then they have sailed and driven a big catamaran, cool, put the sails up, shade, that's great. And then picked up mooring balls, dropped anchors, maybe come alongside a pier once and then come back to the base and their skipper comes out and drives them back in. So that is a very different situation into if you say, yeah, I've chartered a 50-foot cat before, you get on a 50-foot cat in Croatia on B2 in Marina Baltic and leave the marina on a 20-knot day with lazy lines. It's a completely different world.
And Felice's big nose sticking out.
And Felice's big nose sticking out. So yeah, definitely have a look how it works, but make sure you throw in all that. Up a bit. This one?
Yeah, so Guppy was saying same in the UK.
Yeah.
As in everything's moored alongside, not stern to.
Or on a finger. Yeah, on a finger pier.
Yeah.
Boyan said to Nico, we went last September as well. We had to wait till 2 p.m. on a Sunday before leaving because the wind was over 30 knots. Neighbour sailboat ripped up and more leaving. Yeah, dude, and I mean, this is just, sometimes that's just smart to stay. Seems really hypocritical coming from me because I've stayed twice. I've definitely stayed. I remember that the Sea Princess trip, we stayed in the marina 2 nights. It was blowing 80 knots. Yeah. Like I've stayed before, but I leave in a lot of heavy wind. But yeah, so I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but I 100% agree that people should stay in sometimes. Last year was first time mid-mooring on Coronati. Excellent. Lovro says, boating is just different depending on where you are in the world. I've heard stories, very experienced skippers feeling like amateurs in our waters.
I mean, I think that's something to remember is that when you're not familiar with the area, when you don't know the water and the weather and where you're going, and then you approach it with caution until you get a feeling for it. Because it doesn't matter how much of a good sailor you are, if you don't know the area, you don't know.
Yeah, that's 100%
exactly that.
I'm not sure. Oh, catamaran. For that reason, I made a checklist and a person on the stairs was calling it out. Pre-departure checks during departure. No, not an airline pilot. I love it. I love that. That's brilliant. All right. We forget stuff. And it's actually quite a big list when you're looking at lazy lines, mooring lines, stern lines, fender positions, other fenders getting caught, boat hooks, where are they? People were standing. There is a lot going on. Is the bow thruster turned on? Are they drop down? Are they bow thrusters? They drop down bow thrusters. There's just
they
so
turn
many
it on
things.
and they timed out.
That's
They've
it.
gone back up again.
So, did I do the rear lifelines up? Is there something trailing? There is so many things. So that is a brilliant. I love that.
And having someone else calling the checklist as well is brilliant because then you've got somebody else's eyes on it.
I know issues. Yeah, that's about that thing is there. It's money talks. Heard anchoring is a bit easier in the BVI than Croatia. Yeah. This is another thing that is, I get a lot of people coming over like, no, we'll anchor most nights. And I'm like, look, it's not.
But will you?
It's not like the flat things at Ants Marcel. It's not like, anchoring in the BVI and Croatia and Caribbean is so easy.
Putting down a hook right outside
and
Penal Island.
And 4 meters of water, 3 meters of water. And it's like, how much scope you got out? 10-1. Why? Because I got 20 meters out. The resume must be something. So, yeah. So look, we're back on Skippers and Hostesses here, and I want to tell a story from last season because it's relative to what it is, and it's also shaped more and more the way we book boats or don't book boats and crew as an agent. Okay, so if there's any more questions by the time I finish the story, I will answer those, and then we're gonna call it because we need to go see our daughter and have some dinner, and it's coming up just over an hour anyway. So. Last year, I got a great client apply to us for a boat. They're coming for a trip. They were originally going to skipper themselves. This is where it got grey for me, and I had to fix the problem twice. So they said, right, we want a catamaran. So we sorted them out with a 40-foot cat.
4 cabins.
We did itinerary planning and bareboat assist because they had a friend that has had some good experience skippering. She was a skipper. She is a skipper, and she was like, okay, I didn't really want the stress of being a skipper, but I'll do it. Because of course you don't want to give up a cabin for a skipper because that's how we teach our clients. It's like, no, you get 4 cabins, so one of those is for the skipper. Okay, so that happened. Great client. We're going really, really well. Money paid. Everything's good. Itinerary plan, assistance is all running. It's all good. Now then, the client had a change, which was that person was no longer able to come.
The person who was going to skipper.
The person who was going to skipper.
She wasn't able to come.
She filled the boat with another person from their cabin. Like there was only 4 of them. They had a cabin each. But like because they had already split the difference in the price and everything, whatever. So they then asked me, like, can we get a skipper now that this has happened? and I was looking at whether or not I could skipper them, whatever. I said, okay, look, we'll see. We'll see. One of you might have to share. Okay, so it was all this that we're talking about. They also wanted a hostess. I'm like, you can't have both. There's not enough space. You can't have both. And so then they're like, well, what about a skipper that could do some basic hostessing stuff? This is what we deal with all the time. I ended up finding a female skipper that I'd had a couple of interactions with on the dock. She'd been following us. We've seen her around Split, like that. And she was looking for more jobs. And like, hey, this was an all-female crew. So
it was also last minute.
It was last minute. It was right in the season. So I was like, okay, all right, let's try this out. I put the two in touch. They had a chat. There was a synergy. There seemed to be a synergy. So like, okay, let's do this. Now, cool, done. I tell them to revert to the skipper's call on the itinerary. I will still be there as assistants and all that sort of stuff. I'll be there to help them all out. And it's the skipper's call. Cool.
And being there as assistants is a very new concept for a lot of the skippers around here who are used to working autonomously.
100%.
So they're not used to having someone else calling the shots.
Yeah. So
that was probably a very interesting situation for the skipper.
It was then agreed that skipper, for a little bit of a higher price, would sleep in the saloon because the back caves on a Lagoon 40 are horrible. And, and she's sleeping in the saloon, but she's getting paid extra so she can have a bit of time off the next week. Cool. That was agreed, so it's all decided. All right. So they go out, we meet them on the day. There was a bit of incompetence from the start with the skipper as far as times she was expected to show up and her expectations and not, coming to that.
Mismatch of expectations.
There's a mismatch of expectations. And I'm like, we're busy. This is like July, August. It was crazy busy. I had 10 charters going out. And I had the week off. So when I say the week off, I never have Saturday off. I had the week off. I was home with Māhina.
You were at home working. You weren't on the boat working.
So
you don't get a week off in summer.
That's it. So we send them out. They go. Apparently the skipper didn't know how to tie the paddle boards down. That was another issue. That's another red flag going on there. Okay. Anyway, we had, but there's these things going on. Long story short on this, as far as the skipper goes, there was issues the first night with an agreement or non-agreement about the air conditioning being on.
This is another thing to keep in mind, completely irrelevant of skippers and hostesses and stuff. If something says air conditioning, it doesn't necessarily mean air conditioning in the whole boat. The problem on this boat was that the air conditioning was in the saloon only. It was not in the cabins. Now, you have someone who's sleeping in the saloon.
It's going to be cold in the saloon.
You want to cool in the cabins. You want to potentially amp up the AC so it reaches the cabins. Yep. Someone sleeping in the saloon, they're going to freeze.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be cold. Yeah, they're going to freeze. So there was a disagreement there. So then they don't have a good night's sleep. The guests don't have a good night's sleep because they didn't quite understand. So there's not a synergy anymore. Then the next night they go somewhere else they end up in Milner. Okay, they end up in Milner and we've got big wind coming, like proper big wind coming. And it's going to be 2 nights of big wind. So skipper organizes a place on the dock in Milner. Cool, that's fine. Okay, it was a change on the plan, but that's fine. That means they're on shore power, air conditioning, all this crap. The guests are like, cool, we'll roll with it. That's now the second night. This is where I start checking up on the client because I can see that there's a bit of thing because we're in touch with the client the whole time. I get a phone call, client's leaving the boat, is upset, is basically ready to cancel the holiday and is just like, no, I can't deal with this because, I'm feeling really uncomfortable. This person accosted me, are demanding money and things because they had no air conditioning. It wasn't working. So maybe there's just something broken now. And they were like, I'm going to get off the boat and we need air conditioning. We're women in this age and we've got menopause and all this sort of stuff. We need air conditioning. They were just going to go get accommodation somewhere.
Be comfortable.
Yeah, they were just going to go get accommodation somewhere. They weren't blaming the skipper for this. They were just going to sort it out. Skipper spooked, demanded money because she thought they were leaving or whatever it is. Anyway, so now I'm on the phone.
Which I think is very much a mismatch in expectations.
Yep. And I told the client to pay the skipper on the first day. The client had tried to pay the skipper on the first day. The skipper had gone, no, we'll sort that out later. Another problem. So through all that, I intervene. This is our responsibility now. I say to the skipper, I try to find someone who can, no, actually, I hardly even looked for someone to think, I needed to fix this.
It was not worth looking at that short notice
Yeah.
in the thick of the season, we were not going to find someone good.
There was no way I could guarantee it. So I flew out. We decided I'm going to go out to Brach. So I leave home. That sucked. I meet them on Brach. I do the handover with the skipper. I just say, get lost because this is... Anyway, and I take over the trip and I run the rest of the trip. Guests were freaking amazing. They were absolutely fine. We had a blast. Like really, really good birds. So
Good birds.
good birds. We had a lot of fun. And like they were having fun from 25 minutes after we're on the boat. So we took responsibility for that and we fixed it the best way we knew how at the time because it was not acceptable.
I mean, I think a couple of things came out of that.
Yeah.
A, we proved that if we find you a skipper and it doesn't work, we will fix it.
We will fix it.
I think also we learned that the whole bareboat assist itinerary planning thing with a skipper does not work.
No, it's not a thing.
Does not work.
No. And it's never designed to, but it doesn't work. Yeah. And three, and that, hey, if we find a skipper and it doesn't work, we'll fix it. That goes both ways. I will not only look out for my client, I will look out for my skipper.
Because we believe in looking after our people.
If I misjudge these clients and I put them on with a skipper and they treat that skipper or hostess or both like crap and I get to the bottom of it, no, this is not okay. I will stand up for the
We look after our people.
we look after our
That's
people,
what it comes down
period.
to.
And I won't stand for people mistreating service
Either
staff
way
or
it
staff.
goes, we look after our people. Yeah.
Yeah. So look, that was a story from this season, which meant, hey, a few things happened on there, but a skipper not having their space, not getting sleep, then gets cranky, all this sort of stuff. It's like, right, this is really important. All right. We had Boyan agree with Māhina. 100%. A novice sailor skipper felt fairly comfortable in split area because I know it very well. So let's see me as a new skipper focus on things that I'm newer to, like Medmore. That's it. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Love the likes coming in, guys. We're up to 19. 31 people watching those. So if there's some likes to be given, please pop them down now. We're going to sign off in a second. This story illustrates also so well that being a skipper is not about taking care of the boat.
And I think it also...
Not only, sorry. But,
I think it also highlights how important a skipper is to your holiday.
Yeah.
Your skipper can make or break, your crew can make or break your holiday. So it makes sense to go the extra mile to make sure you get good ones.
Yeah, like when someone looks for a crude charter, I'm looking for the boat mainly only for the equipment and the fit. Okay, we need air conditioning and we need 6 cabins, whatever it is. That's what I'm looking for there. I'm not looking at the exact model in this sort of situation. I want to know about the crew. Is the crew good? Do they work together? Have they got good reviews? What feeling do they get when I speak to them?
I mean, one of the things that, and I go back to Edis here because we know Edis.
Yeah.
And I know she was a teacher.
Yeah.
I know she's amazing with kids.
That's it.
She is very, very good at doing food for people with allergies and dietary requirements. She is very, very clever with food. She can make an amazing menu if it's vegan or dairy-free or whatever it is. She knows food that well. So knowing these details about the crew means that we can actually match you up with people who are going to make your holiday awesome. That's the one.
Look, we're almost an hour and a half. It's been great. I've really enjoyed the discussion. Thank you for joining us today, Māhina. Big round of applause for Māhina. Thank you very much. I got my clap button going on. All right. And Nick, we wish you'd talk not so much. Just wanted to press the horn.
They're all here to listen to you talk.
They're all here to listen to me talk. It's a bit weird. Yeah, so look, thank you for joining us. Tuesday next week, I'm just getting back from Barcelona. I think I can still do the stream, but it'll be the next...
You should be able to because you get back at like 6 or 7.
Yeah, so Tuesday next week, 9 p.m. We just did itinerary planning, so it's going to be the next in the charter series. That email will go out coming up towards that. I can't remember exactly what that stream is going to be, but I'll put it up tonight or tomorrow so that you can see it. And that'll be in the charter series. If you're not part of the charter series email thing, email us, team@45degrees
Especially
Sailing.
if you're planning on chartering this year. They are so useful, these emails. And corresponding videos.
Yeah, that's it. So team at 45 Degrees Sailing, email us and say, hey, can I have the charter series and can you put me on the list? And you will get, we'll do that.
Double cheese.
Oh yeah, for Facebook and for YouTube. So yeah, that's where we're at. Thank you very much for joining us. And keep an eye out on the streams because coming up this month, we will be doing our charter giveaway draw that closed off on the 31st. We've got about 55 people or, boats in the draw to win their charter for free. So I'm going to be down anywhere from 1,500 to $5,000 come that draw. So make sure you're online for that and we'll do a couple of giveaways like we did last time, t-shirts or swag or what I think I gave away a flag and crap. Okay, one last thing.
We didn't talk about
We did not talk about gratuity and we said we would.
Honestly, I could do a whole video about that.
Māhina could do a whole video about this, gratuity or perspective. Okay, I'll do a short sentence about it.
Okay,
You go first.
I have strong opinions.
Māhina has strong opinions. We might, yeah. Okay, I'm going to do gratuity first and she can add to it. Is that okay?
Yep.
Okay. I don't care who disagrees with me here. Tipping in Croatia is not mandatory. Okay, tipping in Croatia, gratuity in Croatia is not mandatory. It's not like the States. It's not you must give 20% or anything like that or you're going to get laughed out of the place. I 100% agree that tipping is a great way to show your appreciation if the service is good. If they do a good job, if they do a great job, if they are excellent, if they go above, if they do what they said they're going to do and do it really well and make it pleasant and solve problems and do it really well, that is worth tipping. And in that case, you tip anywhere from 10 to 30, whatever you want, from 10% to whatever you want. I say 20 is really nice of their weekly fee. So consider a skipper's weekly fee roughly 1,500 euros, 1,600 euros, 20% of that, 10% of that. That is a nice cash tip for skippers and hostesses on the job, and it can be more. Māhina, give us one of your strong opinions.
As someone who works in the service industry, you should not be making money from tips. You should be doing your job. You should be paid for what you are doing, and tips should only ever be a bonus for you going above and beyond.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
That's it.
And yes, I can talk for an hour and a half about tipping.
Yes. All right. Brilliant. On that, I'm going to get out of here. We've got a few comments coming in. Thank you. Very informative.
Thank you, guys.
As always, Gordon, thanks for the great content. Adios, amigo. Wills, you're still here. Attention span. Well done. Great weekend. Time to have a drink and some meal. Thank you so much for joining us. Good. If you want to buy us, I always forget this. If you want to do a super thanks because this was cool, or if you share this one with someone that you haven't wanted to use it, you subscribe to the channel, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I forgot about it.